Hey there, welcome back to the athomedive YouTube channel. As always, my name is Joey and today we're in the kitchen making something fantastic. As you can tell, we're in a different kitchen now, so things are going to be changing a little bit. But that's not going to change the way we're making food. So today, we're going to be making fresh homemade pasta using our KitchenAid. This is going to show you the easiest, fastest, and most simple way to make inexpensive, delicious, fresh homemade pasta at your house. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right in. So as you can see on the counter here today, this is everything we're gonna need, and it's a really simple list of ingredients. The main thing that we're gonna be using today, that you need to make sure you have, is gonna be the KitchenAid mixer. You can mix this by hand if you want, but it just takes a little bit longer and a little bit more effort. It's still really no trouble. So we're gonna start off with 3.5 cups of sifted AP flour. This is just traditional bleached AP flour. I have 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm gonna be taking 1 tablespoon of water and 4 eggs. If your eggs don't quite measure up, go ahead and add enough water to make your eggs have 7 ounces of volume. Then we're gonna be using both paddle and hook attachment for your KitchenAid. And today, since we want cut pasta, we're gonna be using the KitchenAid 3-piece pasta roller and cutter set, because we're gonna cut our pasta into string pasta. That way we can have a meal out of it. So let's get started. So the very first thing I'm going to do is take the flour and dump it right into the bowl of the KitchenAid. Then I'm going to go ahead and add in the salt and apply the paddle attachment. Now I'm going to raise the bowl and I'm going to turn this on speed 2 and let it mix for about 30 seconds. Just to incorporate the salt into the flour. Now that the flour and salt are mixed, I'm going to go ahead and add in the eggs and 1 tablespoon of water. Now, I'm gonna raise the bowl and I'm gonna mix this for about 30 more seconds on speed 2. Now, I'm simply gonna drop the bowl, and as you can tell, the pasta has started to come together and get kind of gummy and form into the dough-like shape that we're looking for. What I'm gonna do is just take a spatula and rake as much of the dough itself as I can off of the paddle attachment, because we're actually finished with the paddle. Now that the dough is forming into a dough, it's more appropriate that we go ahead and use the dough hook. Now we're gonna go ahead and put the bowl back onto the mixer, and then we're gonna go ahead and add the dough hook, as opposed to the paddle attachment. Now we're gonna turn the mixer onto speed 2 and let it go for 2 whole minutes. This is when the dough's really gonna come together. While the dough mixes, this is a great time to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. As you can see, the dough hook comes out clean, and that's because the dough's all rolled together and nice and smooth. It is pretty firm, so this is why we're gonna go ahead and wrap the dough in plastic wrap and let it sit in the refrigerator. All right, so here's our pasta wrapped really tight in plastic wrap, and as you can see, it's already starting to soften up and come together. But we're gonna go and put this in the refrigerator for 20 minutes and we'll be right back.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, so we're back and it's been 20 minutes and here's our pasta dough. And as you can see now, it is soft and it has became nice and smooth in one consistency, aside from you can see the salt flakes in there because I use large flake kosher salt. If you use athomedive salt, that should probably be gone as well. So we're gonna go ahead and open this and divide it into 4 equal parts.
1 eternity later.
So now that we have our pasta dough, it's time that we can go ahead and start working it together. I'm gonna go ahead and just round each of these out so that I have more of a disc, a little bit more uniform than the way it was before. Now it's time to get started. We're gonna be making fettuccine pasta. So I have the 2 rollers here that I'm gonna be using today. This one is the smooth roller, just to make the lasagna sheets. And from there, we're gonna go ahead and cut it into the fettuccine shape. Whatever pasta cutter you choose, make sure you read the breakdown in the KitchenAid booklet for the pasta rollers. It'll tell you how thick and what speed to cut your pasta on. So for now, let's go ahead and get the pasta sheet roller connected to the KitchenAid. It's really that simple to connect. So let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is take one of the pasta discs and we're gonna make sure that the pasta roller is as wide open as it goes. We're gonna start at wide open and we're gonna work our way down to about 4 or 5 because that's what KitchenAid recommends for thickness for fettuccine. We're gonna set the pasta machine on speed 2. You might notice that I'm folding the pasta a few times as I go. I will do this a few times and run it through again at the same thickness as the previous run to knead the dough and make sure it's smooth. Here is our first pasta sheet. As you can see, it's nice and smooth and it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna set this aside for now and then we'll move on to doing the rest. So now that we've rolled all of these out into pasta sheets, it's time that we can actually turn them into fettuccine. So to take a look at what we have for the sheets, as you can see here, I've laid these all out on trays and they're coated with a lot of flour. So as I go to roll these, I'm gonna dust off the excess flour and then run them right through the fettuccine cutter. The thickness of the pasta is already determined. So just look at your guide for your KitchenAid pasta cutter and it'll tell you exactly how fast to cut these. It will tell you the max speed, so if you want, feel free to go just a touch slower than it says. So for instance, for fettuccine, it says I can cut on speed 7. I'm gonna probably start at about 4 and I may speed up from there. So as you can see here, we have nice, long, beautiful fettuccine pasta. So for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna twirl it and leave it wrapped up in a nice little bundle like this and go ahead and cut the rest. We see that we have 4 nice, big, large bunches of soft, fresh, beautiful egg pasta. So that's how you make your egg pasta. From here, you can freeze these individually and then put them into bags if you would like. But for me, I'm gonna go ahead and cook one off because it's almost lunchtime. So here, just as any other time we cook pasta, I simply just have salted water. I'm gonna go ahead and cook the pasta for about 45 seconds. Because remember, this isn't hard like dry pasta. This is nice and fresh and soft already. So essentially, all we have to really do is cook the flour throughout. Meanwhile, over here, I have some of our homemade garlic butter cooking with just a little bit of capers. And if you'd like to see the video on how to make the garlic butter, click the link in the top right corner now. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and put the additional 3 into the freezer. So now I'm just gonna coat the pasta with the garlic butter and get everything nice and delicious and coated and full of herbs. And then I'll be ready for lunch. All right, so there we have it, our fresh homemade egg pasta. That wraps us up on how to make fresh homemade pasta using your KitchenAid mixer. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.